I wanted to make sure I didn't bust a thing as far as how the clock goes. You know?
Work a lot. You're going first. Got that? You're gonna call you first.
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Down the rhythm, I mess up.
All right.
Okay.
Wait. You want me to pull something?
We're gonna pull G. You have to make some amendments to J by legal, and one in old business is gonna come back. So it'll be
Pull and G.
Yep, G and old business one.
And old business one. Pull.
Hey, we're not going to talk about that at all?
What?
Just because you sent the paperwork? I mean,
G?
yeah.
No,
No,
we're-
one. Old business one.
No, I can tell you as staff, we met with them, but they need to come up with some other stuff within them on their grant funding, whether they want to build an office. So they need to, they
Call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Workala.
Aye.
Sorry.
Present.
Councilman Harjo.
Present.
Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum for the Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 meeting. Run down to public hearing. Jeff? Oh, Council.
Can I make one motion before we get there?
You bet.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda, adding under new business. We'll just call it discussion for now on the I forget the word that I'm trying to use, but the difference that we found between our trash contract versus or waste systems contract versus what our current ordinance says and how they're in conflict with each other. I'd like to talk about that in new business if we can.
Just specific to the contract.
Contract
On the bags.
and ordinance, yes.
Okay.
Trash. Oops.
Number 6 is talk trash.
That's right.
And then, Tiff, you wanted to pull item G?
Mayor, Council, yes. If we could pull G off of consent and bring it back, we're looking at some negotiation in software and potentially pulling items out of that. However, our agreement with Allied is very outdated, and they've been just servicing us for the last 3 years on a monthly basis. So that's kind of part of the escalation. But yeah, so we'll table that one and bring it back. Brandon's been diving into stuff, so.
Okay. Any other changes to the, Tiff, do you want any other changes? Just the G and then the old business one?
Yeah, old business, the Mill and Water District. You guys have received emails back on January 26th. They're they still are working with some people to figure out what to move forward with. They're with Idaho Water Resources on funding. We met on a phone call with them yesterday briefly, just kind of like, hey, what are some of the costs associated if they came into the city of Mount Home or not? We as staff will provide them that data, and then they kind of got to figure out where they're leaning to move forward. So they didn't quite have enough to bring to you other than our well is unsalvageable at this time. So we told them just to hold off and try to get everything prepared and have a solid conversation on the 22nd. And lastly, we got one more. Depending on J, the FedEx freight out at the airport, there were some edits by legal. So if I would just need that motion to carry legal's corrections that came this afternoon. So.
Are they grammatical or?
There were we had to remove a paragraph, and then there was some regarding termination, and then the rental obligation. So. And the terms of it. Instead of a 5-year binding, he wanted it to 2. And then one whole paragraph 20, it violates Idaho public records, so we have to remove that. So,
They basically said you can't talk to the media without their approval first, and you have to maintain everything in strict confidentiality. And I was like, I'm not sure the media will like that. That won't work.
Yeah. Okay, council,
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
can I just amend my motion to make all the changes we just recognized?
Yep.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
were you done? I'm sorry.
Just looking for a second, but yeah.
Oh, second. Sorry.
It's been motioned and second to make all the changes as previously discussed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Hey,
Okay.
I have some questions.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Okay, quick questions on the bill roll. Why is fiber and fiber off-road from Wex Bank being paid out of the general fund admin budget?
For optics off-road.
Yeah, it's on page 1. Fiber, gas, and oil, the gas for fiber.
Okay, we'll check it. Okay.
probably just,
And then also, why is fiber being, telephone, internet being paid out of the admin budget? Okay, and then, question on, page 5. Oh, yes, thank you. I lost my point of order. I'll stop.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
All right. We'll run down to a public hearing. Tiffany?
yes. The first public hearing will be the proposed fee increase to non-residential cards at the library. Please, no duplicate testimonies, no yelling or rude behavior, no personal attacks, and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. And you cannot give your time to anyone else.
So public hearing,
Yes.
Yes.
You want to speak, Ted?
not for the public hearing.
Okay. Do anybody want to get up and speak for the non-resident cards for library?
If only if we're given a chance to, because we just walked in the door, we didn't know it was gonna be on the agenda. Sorry about that, that's my fault for not knowing. But,
Okay. So Karen, do you want to talk on the public hearing or no? For the library card?
I'm just looking here. Sorry, just walked in the door on this one. Nope, I have no problems. Thank you for asking.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, thank
You're
you,
welcome.
thank
Anybody
you
else?
very much.
If not,
Mayor, before you close it,
yep. Go ahead.
do we have a spot where I've got red ink all over that we're not voting on?
Nope,
it
it'll
tonight?
come back to you next time.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to address it, but I'm not sure the appropriate time for it, whether it's when we're talking about it outside of the public hearing, but
Do I close it or can you address it now?
I don't know what it is. Like,
What do you want to do? The public hearing.
the
May I
non-resident.
interrupt,
card.
please?
Hang on one second, okay?
Please.
I just have
what were you
a,
referring to? On the library cards?
right.
So you had the public hearing open, the public hearing is closed?
Not yet. I haven't closed it yet. I was getting ready to close.
Right.
He wants to talk.
So once it's closed, unless then in the deliberation,
There's no deliberation tonight. It will come back.
well then, just you can, that's silly to wait on that. So if you have a comment that you wish to make on that before it's tabled, you could do that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can I just say what I want to say?
You bet.
I have no problem with the fee increase for non-residents. I think the council just needs to re-attack a previously held decision by the council about non-resident fees in general. I don't know why we have non-resident fees for our library, but we refuse to have them for like Parks and Rec, because we're supporting the same group of people with maybe a different mission, increasing literacy and reading and all that, but we're not willing to charge that like non-resident fee for Parks and Rec when there's limited access sometimes on these programs. And so I guess just before we make a vote on that, which I'm not against passing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I fully intend to vote in favor of that, but I think we need to reattack, and this is a new body, so that's why I'm saying it now. That's it. I hope we can re-engage in that conversation in the near future about why it's good for some and not for others.
Okay, Karen, you want to speak? Come up and write your name down
I so.
for the public
It's on
hearing
the
for.
library part?
Yes, it's
Okay.
definitely on the library.
Okay, go ahead and write your name for me.
All
And then
right.
state your name for the record. That's good, Karen. Nope.
Okay.
And then just state your name out loud for me.
Okay. Excuse me, I wasn't expecting to be standing up here. My name is Karen Halligan. I live at 190 East 15th North. Okay, I just want to bring it up to your attention that if anybody's getting upset or angry or confused and there's discourse, I can point out something. Would you like to follow me, Mr. Mayor?
So you got? Are you speaking
No,
on the library?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I most certainly am. But, okay, so here, I'll show you where I'm talking about. So we all have this piece of paper that we can get by the back of the door there. So on the library, right here, it has on there, public hearing proposed on fee increase of non-residential cards at the library. Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say that people are really super busy, and I appreciate everybody showing up here. It's nice to see a full room. But if I walk you out, look at this paper. You have it on your paper, number 1, right? Okay, outside, I wish that piece of paper, I just happen to go outside for a break. I need some fresh air. That it's got the actual fees on the paper out there, but we're not seeing it on here. It's just difficult. That's the frustration of that. We're having a meeting, but it's on there, but there's no details. You see what I'm saying? I would like to have details. Otherwise, why get here and get frustrated if I don't? It's talking about the fees. I don't know what the fees are according to this. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Well, first of all, I want to know about fees and have time to think about it. It's like, okay, they're raising the fees. First of all, I want to know why, for example. But I'm just saying, it would be easier on the citizens, your constituents, God, to be all on one page and be happy and work together as a city of mountain home. It's a beautiful city, and the people here. But it's sad because people are walking around frustrated, and I want to see some happy faces in this city, not people that are beat down by their bills and they can't afford their own lives, much less. I was speaking to Mayor earlier, we was talking about, basically somebody came and took my checkbook and was spending my money, and then telling me, hey, aren't you happy? I spent your money for you. It's like, yeah, you did a really good thing, but you don't understand that I can't afford that right now. Go up to Walmart and go shopping, and you're down to a bare minimum. You're trying to eat healthy still. I mean, I'm not looking very good. It's because I'm not healthy. Because I'm stressed like so many other people that are hungry. They just want their lives, they just want their lives back. We live in America. Sit there, my time's up, see? Boop. I'm like a trained rat. Okay, time's up. But we're sitting there giving money to foreign countries that we can't even cover our own borders.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're
I hope
welcome.
that you really listen to what I have to say as a spokesman. Well, Karen D. Halligan is the name.
All right.
I'm here
Thanks.
for a reason, not just because I'm hungry, I want to go home, I want to rest, but I'm here because I care. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sir?
My name's Don Guest. I live out in the county. I was kind of wondering about, I don't know what that park is up there by Walmart, what the name of it is, but say we got veterans or tourists here,
Don, are you gonna talk about the
Library,
library?
yeah.
Okay, all right, just making
The-
sure. Okay.
The non-residents.
Perfect.
We have people here that are passing through, maybe be staying here for a little while. They may be veterans, who knows? Mom and pops with kids. Maybe they like to read. They know we got a library. Maybe we should kind of help them a little bit. Maybe make them have to put a deposit or something down in case they decide to take the book, or make some kind of arrangements how they can get the book back if they happen to forget and leave or something with it. Circumstances like that. I mean, I don't think we should deny any of them people just passing through or anything, you know, just because they're non-residents. Maybe, you know, they got a reason to study the book more than the computer or something. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Don.
Would anybody else like to get up and speak for the library? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing. All right, let's run down to item number 2, public hearing of proposed fee increase for trash and recycling service for residential and commercial customers. Would anybody like to get up and speak on trash? Karen again?
No.
Yep.
Debbie was first.
Debbie, sorry. We have a list.
My name is Debbie Meredith, and I have a question on the recycling part. Is Republic Service in fact recycling, or are they just dumping it in with the rest of the garbage? If they are keeping it separate, the next place that they send it to, are they recycling, or are they just dumping it in with their garbage? I'm speaking, apparently it goes up to the Simplot landfill. That's where I would assume our garbage goes to. If they're not recycling, then there's no reason for recycle pickup. It can just go in the regular garbage, since that's the end result anyway. And if that's the case, then I don't see why we should have a fee increase on garbage when we're not doing recycling. They don't need the trucks, you can pull the bins. Reduce manpower, sorry for those people, but I can't afford everything going up and up and up and up. The golf course went up, my health insurance goes up, Medicare goes up, food goes up. The only thing that's gone down recently is gas. So it's only $1, but you've gone up $1 every year for the last 6 years, 7 years, when I look back on my records. I know it's not much, but after a little while it gets a little tiring. So if you could check on the, if they are in fact recycling, then I have no problem with it. If they're not, we're wasting money, my money. That's it, thanks.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. My name's Karen Halligan. Debbie. Pleased to meet you. Am I next?
Debbie.
You took our sign-in sheet.
Will you put your phone number on there, and I'll follow up with a response too.
Thank you.
Debbie Meredith was her name, right? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay, Karen.
Okay, my name's Karen Halligan. This is such a crazy coincidence because I didn't even know there was a meeting. I just happened to stop in to tell the mayor, well, I've been wanting to come in and see you a long time ago, but, well, I've been so busy. Anyway, so we're talking about the trash now. And I tell you what, I'm so happy that Debbie Meredith spoke up, because I've had the same question about the trash. Is it really truly being recycled? And what's so funny, I'm not the only one who's wondered that. It's like, because like she said, it all goes out to, anyway, that's one confusion that I'd like to have cleared up. Is it recycled or not? I want to know the answer now. Because he got on his toes, and he's willing to do the work. I just heard what he was saying, and who asked? Was it you that asked him if he was getting paid for that? I voted for you because I really truly believe that you were the man for the job. And look, you went above and beyond. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Anyway, I'm gonna write my phone number down here. I really don't care to give my phone number out, but I'll tell you what, if you want to call me, I'd be more than happy to hear from you. Matter of fact, I had a doctor call that was out of the blue for a friend I've been concerned about. You have no idea. There used to be a time when a doctor used to call you, but you know, ask how you doing. But I guess those good old days are over now. So, about the trash. And then I got put rules on. I'm not allowed to talk about anything that she just said. But I have to tell you, I'm talking about me personally. I'm not repeating what anybody else said. But basically, I'm having a hard time. In the past, I sat there and I said, just cut to lessen my water bill, at least take the trash off. And I can take you over to my house right now, and it'll be a little bitty bag of trash, which I can take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't, I'm not a fast food person. I don't have the styrofoam and all that crap, you know, the small bit. And then the water bill, it keeps going up and up. So first of all, on the trash bill, I understand that that is a service that we get. And I want to ask that service why they need that raise. Because, and I want to know the answer to that. And why is it that our water bill is going up? And I think I have an inkling of an answer to that for myself, which I truly would love to talk to someone who's like, why is my water bill going up? Because I remember it was, gosh. Anyway, I remember the phone bill was $9 and something a month, which now, how much? I don't know, because can't afford it. But anyways, I just want my issues taken in consideration from the mayor and city council, and I want to know what's going on, and I think it would make it clear why I want to ask you if you would come with me. But if anybody wants to go look out there on the board.
Karen?
Okay.
Karen?
But I wish that they would hand out what I saw on the board.
Right.
Okay, now you're going to tell me what.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, thank you for listening. Like I said, this is just the weirdest coincidence ever. I haven't had time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anybody else like to get up and talk about trash? I'm gonna close it. All right. Public hearing closed.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
with the public hearing closed, I think myself and Councilwoman Garvey would like to address a couple things really quick.
You bet.
Can I go first?
You bet.
I was going to say, I had the same question I asked at our last meeting where we talked about the fee increases and all that stuff, and the best I can tell, and I think she's going to have a better answer, is the stuff is being recycled. It's being trucked all the way to Boise to a recycling center where they sort it, mix it, and then it goes off. And I'm not going to follow it all the way to China or wherever it goes to for that. But from here to there, it's definitely getting sorted and recycled.
Daniel, thank you for directly talking to me and not
and-
making me feel like I got shut.
Hold on, thank
I'm
you.
not allowed to speak.
No.
I'm just saying
Also,
thank you.
in luck for you, if we pass this today, there's rates for smaller garbage cans that will help your rate
heard about that.
your rate will go down. So there you go. And for water, we have to keep look where we live and how hard it is to get water here. And
I know. I
there's
understand that.
there's no way around that. We've got to move forward with a steady and regular increase on that.
Can I please explain
So,
about the
Cal-
water? Another thing about the water bill.
Karen,
Okay,
please,
see.
please.
Okay, I thought we was in the city meeting. Sorry.
No.
I thought it's just for, okay, so it's just a closed meeting for you. It's just that we get an eavesdrop on your meeting.
Yes,
Is that what's going on here?
that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, because I mean, am I a free American anymore? Am I free to sit there and tell my city council what I feel?
So,
And then everybody's wondering why everybody's all pissed off. You know?
Karen,
I understand the rules. There are rules, but I'm just trying. I will not ever do this again. I'm just trying to get rid of the frustration of everybody here that they feel the same way I do. I was asking about when you were running,
Right.
when Misty was running.
right. Karen, Karen,
Okay,
Okay.
you definitely want me to shut up now.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Mayor.
Sorry.
So I wanted to just give a quick, I didn't officially tour the capacity, or the facility, but I toured the recycling facility, and it's pretty phenomenal. I took a bunch of shred up there to Boise, and all of the Allied trucks drop, and there's a guy that's there. If you literally pull in and you are on the wrong recycle side, he shoos you down the road because there cannot be intermingling of garbage. So it does get recycled, it does get sorted through, and they take it very, very seriously. And it's a really cool, well, I don't know if anybody thinks touring a garbage facility is cool, but it was really neat to see, because after we had our meeting, Michelle Klein said, you know, come visit us, and I did. And so I feel confidently that our stuff is being recycled in the way it should be, and they do a very good job at it. So yeah, there's my quick answer on that one.
You didn't have to
So
go
Ted,
Charlotte.
I'm gonna go down to recognize the persons yada. I'll let you go first, because I know you had your hand up.
You need anything other than my name too?
No, that's fine. Thank you. And if you could say it out loud.
Ted Thompson.
Thank you.
In January of 2016, Mayor Sykes and then City Councilman Schroeder attended an airport advisory board meeting. They commented during the meeting that the board was the best run board of all the city's advisory and regulatory boards. They commented positively about the board's vision and progress. A few months later, the mayor appointed a new person to fill a vacancy on the board without getting input from the board. The mayor and Councilman Schroeder both chastised board members who sought to understand the process for selecting new members. The board was renamed a committee and continued to try to advance the capabilities of the airport, though hampered at times. On several occasions, there was no quorum to move recommendations forward to City Hall due to absences of committee members. In early 2020, I attended a city council meeting to voice a concern that the city government did not seem to consider availability to attend these committee meetings as a consideration for appointment to the boards. There was a public hearing at that same meeting about increasing parking fees for large and turbine-powered airplanes. Unfortunately, the Airport Advisory Committee president did not attend, and I was asked by the Council and Public Works Director to speak for the committee on that topic. The fee change was designed to normalize the fees, and I proposed it to the Airport Committee because the seat-based manager had mentioned the difference in fees between what BLM was paying versus what other firefighting aircraft were paying. Airport Advisory Committee approved the recommendation to the City Council to approve the fee change. At the hearing, one person objected to the fee change, even though he had no aircraft at the airport that were impacted by that fee change. He provided a false narrative to the City Council that high fuel prices and parking fees were driving away traffic from the airport. I refuted that narrative anecdotally at the meeting and with actual data at the next City Council meeting, demonstrating that traffic at the airport had doubled in the previous 5 years based on gallons of fuel sold and parking fee revenue. Interestingly, fuel prices at the airport now, despite a recent decrease, are significantly higher than surrounding airports, and in some cases have been outrageously high, more than $1 a gallon more. This is definitely driving traffic away, as pilots have told me. The person who provided the false narrative was appointed to fill my now vacant position on the advisory committee, despite the fact he had provided the City Council with information that was false. A couple of months later, an application for an airport license came to the City Council for approval despite not having been seen by the Airport Advisory Committee in violation of the city ordinance that required applications to be reviewed by the committee. Then Councilman Bundy stated that he was sure the committee would have approved it, so he moved to have the council approve the application, which it did. 3 members of the Airport Advisory Committee submitted a joint letter of resignation because the city did not follow its own ordinances. It did not appear to desire the advice of the committee. 4 new members were appointed, including one who would routinely miss most meetings due to work issues and a desire to work in Alaska. Another was a long-haul truck driver who had little general aviation experience, telling the City Council that his father was a pilot and he was a student pilot.
Excuse me, sir, your time is up. And you
Karen,
can't have any more.
you-
No.
Stop, Karen.
Yeah, stop.
Yes,
You're telling
please.
me to stop.
Yes, ma'am,
A
please.
taxpayer to stop.
He
She
has
said-
the right to speak. It's his time to let him speak.
I just seen his time was up.
Yes,
He's running on the clock here.
everybody has 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, goodness gracious, who decided that it was going to be... Is it going to take you longer than 3 minutes to have what you have to say? I noticed that
That's
you were
it.
rushing, too.
want me to-
No,
What do you-
call the cops on me. What do you got to do? I want to hear what this man has to say. First of all, since I've come in here, I couldn't hear when I'm sitting in the back, wherever I sit. You know, I want this man to have his say-so without rushing. Do you understand? Russian. Oh my God, Russia? Is that how this crap goes on in Russia? This man's talking about China.
Let's take a 5-minute
Okay, let's do it. Give this.
Meeting back to order. Let me take the roll really quick. Councilman Harjo.
Here.
Councilwoman Workla.
Present.
Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Present.
So Ted, sorry about that interruption. You think you got about a minute, 2 minutes left? I'm gonna give you that time.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That person ultimately submitted his resignation letter citing the lack of the committee's ability to have an influence. He was also concerned that the city had hired an out-of-state company to take over the management and fixed base operations, stating, I quote, "I feel it was a backdoor business to me," end quote. I was asked by the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association Airport Support Network Northwest Region to be their representative for the Mountain Home Airport. I accepted and attempted to attend every Airport Advisory Committee meeting. At one meeting, Councilman Brennan attended as the City Council representative. He stated an interest in learning all he could about the airport. To that comment, the airport manager offered Councilman Brennan free training to obtain his private pilot license at $12,000 value. I spoke to Councilman Brennan after the meeting, expressed my concerns about at least the unethical, if not illegal, offer, free training not available to everyone else. At another meeting, I was asked by the Public Works Director to address concerns I had shared with him about safety of operations at the airport. I brought up those concerns without naming names and was verbally attacked. Excuse me. I apologize.
Good job, Ted.
Was verbally attacked and threatened by 2 airport committee members. Airport Advisory Committee meetings were changed from monthly to quarterly, and the meeting venue was changed from City Council chambers to the airport terminal conference room that seats 8 to 10 people, including the 7 committee members, the Public Works Director, and the Recorder. This serves to limit public access to these meetings, and the quarterly meetings do not provide frequent enough opportunities to provide inputs about the airport and how projects around the community will affect the viability of the airport. Last May, the airport hosted an open house. The open house was not discussed with the Airport Advisory Committee, and the manager and the committee did not ensure all airport users were aware of the open house. As a result, 2 of the largest full-time operators of the airport were not able to adequately make their operations open to the public. I understand there's another one that's going to happen this year. It's absolutely critical that all airport users have an opportunity to participate. At last month's airport advisory meeting, the discussions devolved into chaos because the committee president, a friend and business partner of the airport manager, failed to silence the airport manager when he rudely interrupted speakers, one of whom is an airport advisory committee member, and attacked them. Shared my concerns with the Public Works Director about the chaotic meeting and exceptionally rude behavior of the city's contract employee towards airport users and an advisory committee member. For the last 4 years, the Airport Advisory Committee has devolved into a chaotic group that has stifled input from the airport users. It has failed to provide meaningful input on projects that encroach on the airport, unable to provide comment because the city government does not keep them informed, or the committee leadership has not kept its members informed, when in fact the leadership has knowledge of the projects. Turner high-density housing project was built at the fence of the airport is a prime example. Runway Estates is another. The committee is not ensuring the city meets its grant assurances for receiving airport improvement funds from the FAA by allowing economic discrimination against some airport users. In closing, the City Council oversight of the airport and its advisory committee is absolutely necessary. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Anybody else like to get up and speak? Sure.
Yep, just please state your name.
Rod Dudley. And I just wanted to comment more than anything. First of all, thank you for listening. We've learned a lot in the last 8-9 months. And the most important thing that I've learned is how to communicate with City Council and possibly you too someday. But I think it's really important that citizens know just how to get information. It was frustrating when the agenda would come out and we would be clueless on what you guys were voting on and discussing because you already knew that stuff in your packets. So we learned that we could get a packet and actually follow along when you're voting and making or having discussion. I'm sure there are other people just like today that didn't know they could do that. Running in a city or being a citizen doesn't come with a rule book or how to do it at all unless we ask a lot. And unfortunately, we ask a lot. So I know that puts Tiffany behind her computer a little more, but it's just a few more emails.
You don't have to print, I understand, the entire packet, because that would take a small tree each time. But it helps me understand what's going on. It makes it easier for us to have discussions at home as to what's an opinion and what's true. And so I know this is recording, so hopefully people will see this and know that they can hear, and I mean they can know what they're talking about a little. We can contact all of you guys individually or as a group, and I do know you guys listen. I really do. And I just would hope that we can educate. You know, we do. We try. So that's really all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rex.
Would anybody else like to get up? Ian?
I'm Ian Walcott. I'm the current chair of the Airport Advisory Committee, and perhaps the biggest problem we have at the moment is the attitude of some members or some people who attend the meeting. So I don't want to get into the details, but this playing of gotcha is it's ridiculous. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, anybody? Okay. Department heads. I'm gonna start with you, Brenda.
Hello, everybody. Council Mayor. We are busy in the planning and zoning department. We do have some things coming up on the agenda, so we have some public hearings coming up on the 20th, and then also that first Tuesday in March. So you'll be seeing more things coming from us.
Oh, there's so many. Oh, there's Shasta. There. Thanks, Brennan. Shasta.
Mayor, council. Tonight is our couples paint and sip wooden heart class. It's full, but thanks to everyone who registered, and thanks to our friends for purchasing the supplies for that event. We have team coders tomorrow at 3:30. That's for ages 12 to 18. Our Friends of the Library meeting is at 10:30 on Thursday. Saturday, we have Gaming Arcade open at noon since there is no school that day, so come on down, it'll be open play. We also have open mic night on this Friday from 6 to 8, and that's always a good time to see people's creative side, whether it be singing, poetry, acting, jokes, that sort of thing. We also have our Mountain Home City Youth Council. They meet at 3:30 on this Friday. And then our programs coordinators, both Bianca and Jessica, will be at the Parks and Rec event on Saturday over at the Recreation Activity Center, and that's from noon to 4, and that's for all ages. We also have a special night, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. We'll have a teen after hours string art craft, but it's going on at the same time. The Elmore County Health Coalition will be doing a educational event on youth vaping and the potentials with that for parents. So both teens and parents would have a reason to come at the same time. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was our murder mystery is at the end of the month. It's a leap year this year, so it's on the 29th of February. The dinner is provided, and it's thanks to Jack Services. They sponsored the dinner, so thank you for that. And we're looking for 3 more readers to be participants in the murder mystery. So if you're interested, let us know.
Betsy?
So Mayor, Council, I actually don't have much to report. Mostly just been maintaining, updating websites and all that information. I did pop out, however, to say someone's laptop is taking over the mic. And all we can hear on the YouTube end is a fan going off. So I'm not sure whose laptop is taking over.
Not mine.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming Councilman Brennan and Mayor Sykes' laptops are clear or lack thereof.
Mine's not on, so.
I just don't know if there was
Betsy, put this one out there. It's been running.
Okay, I was like, I don't know. All I can hear is a fan and a transformer going off.
An airplane for a while.
Thank you.
That might be mine.
Shia
Sorry.
LaBeouf is
I'm
not here,
pretty
so
sure
I
it's
don't
that way. It's been running.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, there you go.
Chief, Moore?
Mayor, Council, we have got 9 firefighters that are going to be in the Southern Idaho Fire Academy this Friday through Sunday, developing their skills and for perfecting their craft. Sequel training has been going very well. We're gaining leaps and bounds with particularly our younger firefighters and in that, so that thing's been a tremendous success for us. We do have on the docket, weather permitting, for March 2nd, which would be a Saturday, that we intend to burn down Dorm 1, which is one of the larger structures that is up there. So we need to do that as we go, so we can keep on track to get those buildings taken care of as we agreed to do. Fire department wise, we have drafted a letter that we want to propose to the Elmore County Commissioners. What we'd like to see is we'd like to see a countywide burn ban that would be harmonious with everybody, our aligning partners, BLM and such. It's not a significant change in the current burn ban. What our proposal will be for them to adopt a ordinance for June 24th to expire October 1. So that's within a week, possibly 2, of what we currently operate in. But that would make it much easier for law enforcement, for the citizens to avoid all the confusion. Are we in a burn ban? Are we not in a burn ban? So that's our goal, to get that accomplished this year. So hope to have good things out of that. And we have 4 firefighters that are currently training for and will be participating in the Seattle Stair Climb. That's the, for years now that there's been several different firefighters who participated, and that is to raise funds for leukemia and lymphoma. I'm sitting next to one of the firefighters who's going to be participating in that event this year, so proud to have that activity going on with the fire department. That's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. Hank?
Mayor, Council, Ted did pass his residential certification for building inspector, and we are hiring our code enforcement officer to take Nicole's spot on February 22nd. So hopefully we'll be all trained up and ready for the summer. Other than that, I think it's going really well.
Chief Thompson?
Mayor, Council, we made final offers to 2 brand new entry-level officers that we started in the academy in April. We got the final blessing from Post for the openings for that. Leaves us with just the lieutenant opening. And we are going to be starting the community academy on the 28th. We've currently got 14 applicants for that. 6-week program to basically show off the department and what we do. So we're looking forward to that starting.
Fantastic. Mr. Curtis?
Mayor, Council, from your water department, we're working to get a quote to bring a bulk storage water card reading machine to the bulk water site outside of the Public Works building there. That'll help us get a better handle tracking and paying for the water. Right now it's a key, and if you don't have the key, you're locked out. So we want to make it available to the whole community. For the wastewater, we do have contractors in. We're working on the Raptor. We hope that we're going to have the Raptor back up and running so the guys can quit going and having to clean it a couple times a day. We're anticipating that'll be back up and running on Friday. We also are conducting interviews for our 1 open position in wastewater. Thursday we have 3 candidates that we're going to be interviewing, and I've reviewed all of the applications. We have 3 good candidates, so we got a pretty good pool to pull from. Streets department, you're going to see them out. They started today. They're going to be doing crack sealing. They're going to be addressing the largest potholes that we know are all over the town. We know we're not completely out of winter, but we feel like we need to get a jump start on it. So you're going to see that along with some repainting of curbs and that kind of thing. And then We did have the seat base quote came back, so we're working that process right now, and we're going to be moving the airport advisory committee meetings back here to City Hall, starting with the next meeting.
Tiff, anything? Paula?
Mayor and council, I just want to let you know that outburst scares me. So we're right here with a room full of people, and it doesn't take much for one of us to get hurt. So if everyone could just please be respectful and kind to the city employees. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Hank. Those things like that scare me, so please be respectful to the city employees.
Thanks, Paul. Paul Fitzer, anything?
I'm fine.
Council?
Mayor,
Council?
do we have a sergeant of arms? Is it the police chief?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, I was wondering that when that was going down. Okay, good call.
All right, we're going down to conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on this city council agenda? If so, please set forth the nature of contact.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Wolfla?
So the council all received an email from Terry Manduga in reference to action item 2 under old business. Council also received email from Misty Pierce on consent agenda items G, but that was taken off. L, M, O, and for old business number 2.
Okay. Mayor. Councilman Brennan?
Agreed. I got the same messages. I need to declare something though. I sent a reply message to Mr. Rod Dudley on accident. Replied all to everybody, and it's not an item on our agenda, but I should not have hit reply all. It was an accident, so you guys all could see how I felt about our 5 o'clock meetings. But I need to declare that on the record, is that I'm still a favor of a 6 o'clock start meeting, not a 5 o'clock, and I told him exactly that he'll have to convince everybody else and not me. So I need to set the air clear on that.
All right, we'll run down to the consent agenda. Council, we made a motion and it was approved to pull item G. We need to do an interliation or legal for J. On any of the other ones, do you have any comments, questions, and want to pull any more? Or do you just have questions here moving forward?
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I have questions on B, I guess. B. So back to, if I could get an answer on why fiber is being paid out of the admin budget for gas and oil, telephone and internet. And then this other one's just mainly a question for Chris. On page 5, what was the $25,000 third-party plan review to Safe Built for commercial plan reviews?
I don't have that in front of me.
That's right here.
Safe Built LLC.
That was
That's
actually
Hank.
that was actually for a third-party plan review of the Gulfview Apartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge complex.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, that would take me a long, long time to do.
Okay.
So we do hire out third party on those bigger plan sets just at the same time.
Yeah, I understood the gist of it. I was just kind of wondering what's
And they
going
pay
on
back
that we
that
need
to
that.
us.
Okay, okay. And then the other one's clear back here. Sorry. On the, I just wanted to make a couple comments. I guess not really questions, but since we talked about fiber so much, and Scott, thank you. You did a wonderful job, and I interjected my little tidbit of my budget talk. I was looking at the fiber optic funds, and it appears as though we have overdrawn 2 fiber optic fund items based on the payroll and the budget book. So I highly recommend that we sit down and we start talking about the budget and the money that's being spent, because it's not aligning with our budget. And we'll get to the purchasing policy here in a little bit, but anything that's going to be overdrawn should be addressed to the council immediately. And those 2, based on this bill run, are overdrawn by almost $3,000. So think it's important to talk about the fiber optic budget.
Okay. Mayor? Councilman Brennan?
Just for the record, Tiffany, if you could help me put it on the record that the Idaho Power quote for service at the BLM seat base is a pass-through, where we'll write a check and we are reimbursed by BLM. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay, so comes in or goes out and comes right back in. Okay.
Well, let me clarify. Not right back in. Like, it's a process where we reimburse and then we wait for them to approve it, and so you're not going to see it in and you're going to see it out.
With a little time.
It may take several bill runs before you're going to see one come back in.
That's fine, but it comes back.
Okay.
Sorry for my words, yeah.
For the record.
Thank you. And then I'd like to pull item O from the consent agenda.
Okay. Any other council? So, hearing none, I'll ask for a motion pulling G, pulling O, and then the interpretation from legal with the changes of J. And do I hear a motion for that one?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
Just for clarity, at the beginning of the meeting, we made a motion to pull G. Can we leave that off at this time? Off the motion, or just do it again?
Do it again. It was my mistake when I was just thinking we were in the consent agenda at the time.
Okay.
So did I. It's okay.
Yeah, I just.
Okay.
Just to make sure it shows up in our minutes at the right place.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, pulling items G entirely, moving O down to new business, and editing the FedEx Freight Inc. license agreement with what legal would like to have. Legal changes. Thank you.
Second. It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo? Aye. Okay. Let's run down to old business. Action item one, we pulled it for and as Tiff gave you kind of a short synopsis of what they're going to bring back on the 27th. Okay. So let's run down to action item number 2 of old business, deliberation discussion regarding spending limits. Sorry, I can't even read the dang spending limits. Purchasing policy distributed on the January 23rd, 24. Council, what do you want to do?
So,
Councilwoman.
oh, sir, Mayor. I actually want to talk to a department head that I think if we amending this purchase policy would affect the most, and that would be Public Works Director. How often do you purchase items or need to purchase items? How frequent do you need to purchase items over $5,000?
I've only been 2 months, so, but in that 2 months time, we make a lot of purchases. There's a lot of things that come up on a day-to-day. We're working on a coring machine and some things like that we're buying plows for the trucks, things like that, they come up on a regular basis. Is it going to be detrimental to the operation? No, but there are things that we do have that come up, like a plow for a snow truck. If we have to wait to spend $5,000, $4,000 on it, it's going to slow the process down and it's going to impact the community. So there are things that come up on a regular basis.
Okay. Fire Chief, for you as well, how often do you purchase items over $5,000?
Mayor, Council, it's not that often that we have those larger increments that come in terms of lease purchase and those sort of things that will be coming up in this upcoming budget. Everything that we have is presented to you for perusal at our budget process. Also they're listed in their CIPs. So we're not often caught by surprise. The only thing that we would be caught surprised by that I can foresee is if we had something catastrophic go wrong with one of our engines and we had to go in and effect repairs or have something done of that nature. So it is not that often that we have those things, but everything we do have is disclosed in our budget.
So the reason why I asked that, because originally my thought was it needs to run through mayor and city council. But then, having some discussion, come to realize I do not want to handicap you from, or hold you back from work, because we meet, I think it was like 3 weeks since the last meeting, right? So I don't want to do that to you, to the department heads. So after some discussion, I was considering, do you guys have any thoughts before I talk more?
It's all you. I've got some.
Okay.
But at the right timing, you can keep going if you want.
Well, in addition to, the mayor is the chief administrator over, that is his job. He is the chief administrator over department heads and budget. So on page 4, if you guys want to turn to page 4, number 6, where it says plan, project, and equipment purchases between $5,000 and $50,000 in order to allow approval by the mayor. That is your job, right? That is your job, is to oversee department heads and budget, correct? Okay. So what I am leaning towards is that the mayor, you're an elected official, so you're at a different standard or a higher standard than city workers. So I would like to propose that elected officials be allocated with allocated budgets, with a request to purchase exceeding $5,000 must be reviewed and approved by city council. So to make that amendment. So to keep everything the same, but again, with elected officials with allocated budgets over $5,000, it would have to go to council. What's your thoughts?
Councilor Brennan? What I was thinking was more of we do what I feel is the best work we can when it comes to creating our budgets. And I've kind of always ran through my mind that I think I have to be politically correct here with my other hat, but if you give a budget to a department, you need to allow them to spend it. Now I know that there's certain line items and whatnot for specific tasks, but the path my mind is on is to seek council approval with a transfer from line to line greater than $5,000, because we've given them money for specific projects, specific tasks, line itemed in their budget, and if they want to take from, I don't have a good example off the top of my head, but take from this to add more money here, maybe they overdrafted or whatever, but a transfer greater than $5,000 would need to come to council approval. And I guess while I'm talking, there's one other thing that I've kind of always had a problem with, and I don't know the right way to fix it. I'm going to put that on the record for everybody, is the part about not requiring bids under $50,000 for repairs and maintenance. So under the purchasing checklist that we have, repairs and maintenance, bids and quotes required, it says not required under $50,000, and I just do not like the fact that we can, and I know it speeds things up and sometimes we have to go fast, but as prior Councilman Bundy would say, like, the government's not always doesn't always need to run fast. But I hate that I can just go say, hey buddy, can you do this work for $49,000 or $12,000, whatever it is, and not feel the need to do our due diligence to say, buddy number 2, can you do it for $48,000 or $11,000 or whatever those numbers are. That will slow us down, I'm sure, but I think in my mind that's our job, is to make sure we're getting the best deal. I don't like seeing the same person get all the business in the city for the certain project. I don't like, and I don't know how it works, right? Maybe maybe we are going out and asking a lot of people and we only get one person to answer. I've seen that a lot in the 6 years I've served here, but as far as receiving quotes, I'd like some way for us to come up to say we need to get written quotes from at least 2 people before we offer the business to somebody.
I like that. I would like to see that, yes.
Councilwoman.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not following your order, am I? Yes, sir. Mayor, no, I agree with him. On that. I think there's a lot of able bodies, businesses in this town that we could potentially be willing to take on the job. So yes, multiple quotes would be something I'd like to see as well.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
I just kind of have just a high level quick couple comments. The policy goals, the reason why this purchasing policy was written, the one thing that really sticks out to me is save money by encouraging competition for good value. And I have not seen that happen in the city for a very long time. So that's just kind of one of the quick things. I think that Councilwoman Workla was on the right path of asking if it's in their budget, they can purchase it. It's not like Chief Moore said, it's in our budget, the truck or whatever. It's more like it's more that when the money's not spent in the manner that we thought it was going to be spent in. So I don't know that would really hinder like Public Works, for example. I think where it comes into where it's just going to be, if we lower that number on the mayor's side, it's just going to be more communication to us, really, is what it's going to be, which I think is great. Excuse me. Item number 5, under the responsibilities of department heads, and I've been here 2 years. We've never implemented this, so I'm not saying that any of the department heads have done anything wrong. However, it says that the department heads will provide a quarterly report to the city council listing planned improvements or projects which fall under the category of repair and maintenance and expected to have a completion cost of more than $5,000. So had we been implementing that, we would not have had the caboose issue, because that money would have had to come to us in a quarterly written statement. So I think that we either need to revise our purchasing policy or we need to start adhering to it from the council's perspective and the city's perspective to bring it to us. Those are my quick thoughts. The other thing of note, last meeting, Paula mentioned, I'm not picking on Paula, but Paula mentioned that the balance for snow removal was going to be overdrawn, which it wasn't. I checked it. We actually had budgeted enough money. However, again, in the purchasing policy, if there's ever going to be a negative fund balance, which I just pointed out 2 in fiber optics, we are supposed to be notified. And that didn't happen. Obviously, snow removal was a little bit of an emergency. It needed to be done. I get that. That's more of an example of things that we all need to do across the board. And then back to your 5,000 and 50,000, I highlighted, it's already appropriated. So the department heads can spend what they want because it's already been appropriated. We've already said yes. It's the out-of-point purchases that we need to rein in on. The purchases that we didn't know were going to happen. We know that there's a Kubota tractor being, because it was in the CIP. Do you get what I'm saying on that
Mayor?
one? Yeah.
Councilwoman Workla.
Yeah, agreed. So that's why with the idea of having it where the mayor would have to, anything over 5,000, bring it to city council, we wouldn't be missing that, right? It would be transparent right there in front of us. Parks and Rec has to provide a letter, right, if it's over 50,000 or whatever, like it was last meeting. So what I'm proposing is the mayor, anything over 5,000, would have to propose the same as well for us.
Yep. I agree, Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
I apologize, I agree.
So council, if I'm hearing you right, so the department heads, if they are allocated their funds, they could spend their funds.
That's what it says in here.
Right.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
can we specify in your question about the line item that it's budgeted for? Because that was my concern.
Mayor?
Councilman Harjo?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Did I say it? Yeah, sorry.
Are you done?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Councilman.
Last time we had this discussion, the purchasing policy was new to a couple of us. Thank you to everybody who was willing to set that back. That was willing to table that for the couple weeks to review this. I said it before and I'll say it again. We have an entirety of a process doc that outlines very specifically what our tasks are as a city and department heads in regard to their budget. I am in favor of adding the nomenclature as an addition if we're going to hold elected officials in charge of an allocated budget as an addendum to the document. However, I'm not willing to budge on a document that in the overwhelming sense is being adhered to. Would I like to see a quarterly report as provided in responsibilities of department heads, item number 5? Sure. That's something that I don't think is too encumbering of a department head. The rest of this document seems to work pretty well as of the moment. I think I would be hesitant to be in approval of anything that would possibly kneecap good forward movement for the community, items of public safety that we're obligated to provide as a municipal corporation. I think this is a pretty solid framework for how we operate and our expenditures. If we're going to make any amendment to this, it needs to be that short addendum and no other change. And make sure that we adhere to what we have prescribed since 2017.
So council quarterly reports, negative balance, if there's going to be a negative balance, sent to you guys. What was the third? Council Workload, what was yours? Sorry.
Yeah, elected officials with allocated budgets, a request to purchase exceeding 5,000 must be reviewed and approved by city council.
So if I want to,
You're the only elected official that
Correct.
has a budget, so yes, sir.
I'm fine with that. I don't, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure that the day-to-day operations can still go further, like the department heads can still spend that what you guys have okayed on the budget. That one, that's great. No problem at all. I just want to make sure that the day-to-day operations that each department head has the authority to fix a fire truck, a police car, actually buy chlorine, which there was a couple of those. What else was there today? I signed, it was like 28 grand for something. Well, a check, but it was for, and I know Miguel's gonna have fertilizer for, hopefully it went down this year, I don't know, Jake's Fertilizers. I just want them to be able to still do their day-to-day operations.
Mayor, I don't want to change number 6. That's what you're saying, the same thing too. I want to
Okay.
we're just talking the same language.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to change number 6. So again, department heads, anything over 5,000 still goes to you as chief administrator, and then they can carry on business as usual, so.
Perfect. Love it. Don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I buy anything over 5. Go ahead, Councilman Brennan.
I think I'm getting a little confused with all the kind of desires here, but one thing I want to point out, which I think goes to the point I'm trying to make, is Chief Thompson sent a memo to us, which is asking for permission to spend money out of the contributions account. So he's asking for a vehicle that we've already approved in tonight's agenda. There's a little extra expense that was for the cage for the animal safety in the back that was not part of the vehicle purchase, and he's asking for permission for the cage out of contributions, which then came on our agenda as an action item. That's what I'm talking about. So a kind of a transfer, like contributions is more like, to me it's almost like our what's the word I'm looking for, our big fund of contingency fund. It's pretty similar to that in terms of the animal shelter for me, but still there was a request, an actionable item that we were able to say, absolutely proceed forward with. Versus, so that's how I kind of see it as a line item transfer to add to one bigger project. You had mentioned Railroad Park earlier, and am I clear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. So, I appreciate seeing the memos come to us as a request and not just telling us what they're doing, because ultimately we have to be responsible for that money.
Mayor, could we add that as well then?
Which one?
What he just said, the transfer, to be transparent, because you said that you didn't see that in the purchasing policy, the line item transfers.
I'm not saying, I guess, I highlighted everything I could see, but what is important to me is a line item transfer of above $5,000. It wasn't specifically asked for within the budget creation that we did, the approved budget.
Right.
And they're saying like, maybe it's a high gas year this year, and they're saying, I need $10,000 out of another line to pay for our fuel this year. I'd like to see that come, because it's line item transfer. Will that kneecap our department heads by doing that? Slow you down too much? I'm trying to see all the department heads, you know? So in the past, we've seen some memos that are just statements, and I don't like that, right? I want to see the request so that we can truly track it, and we can make the decision whether it's approved or not.
Okay.
Mayor?
You might want to add if it's for an emergency, unless it's an emergency.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not sure the detail, but there is an emergency clause in our spending authority which grants you the authority under, I think it broadly defines what an emergency is, but I feel like that's covered.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Okay, so real quick, back to the point, and I think this is what will help all of us, and maybe this will bring it down for you guys. So like, say, repairs and maintenance, for example. It's a pretty broad budget that doesn't necessarily tie to a CIP. So that money can kind of be spent, maybe wherever. Which my case in point is that the caboose got paid for out of repairs and maintenance. Well, had it come to the council, maybe we would have allowed that, maybe we wouldn't have allowed that. But that's more my point, is that just clarity to us, what you're doing. You spent a big chunk, which they have a large budget. I'm looking at streets right now, but a lot of money was spent out of repairs and maintenance, where we wouldn't, if we're not doing our due diligence every 2 weeks and looking at the bill roll, we would have just maybe passed that by and not thought a thing of it. So big expenses, especially out of any department head would come over 5,000 anyway, but that's the whole point that I think I'm trying to say anyway, is just letting us know.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan.
I touch one more time on my two bid thing. If the council would approve, I'd like it to go under the category for repairs and maintenance over $5,000, and the project or equipment over $5,000 to have two type of bids. Legal, I might seek your advice here. I don't know what kind of bids, if they need to be sealed bids, or how fast we can say you have 48 hours to get us a bid back, before we can proceed forward. Because we're going a little, probably more stringent than what state law requires.
Yes, it's more stringent, but what state code requires. However, in my experience in all the different cities I represented, it's actually common practice that we're not just going to call that they're not just going to call the first person in the phone book. That they're actually going to, you can make it part of your policy, that's totally fine, but generally language is you'll solicit, usually it's 3, but you'll solicit 3 bids, you will solicit 3 bids, and then it doesn't even say, unlike state code, it doesn't even say that you have to accept the lowest one, because maybe the lowest one sucks and just isn't very good at their job. So why would you take that? So you attempt, you're giving in the department head's discretion, but you could create just a couple line policy that says you'll solicit 3 bids. Sometimes you can't get 3 bids. Sometimes the lowest bid is not somebody you really trust, and you give them that flexibility. But you just put that in the policy. I'll say it's common practice everywhere I've ever been that they'll do that anyway. But to the extent you want it in writing, that's totally fine.
Do you have a policy example you could provide to us
Sure.
from
Yeah.
one
Yeah, I can
city?
find one.
Okay. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I know Eagles about that. City of Eagle.
So essentially, any purchase or repair over $5,000 is my request on that.
Yeah.
2 sealed bids? Or just 2 bids, 3 bids?
2 bids. I don't know what they look like as far as sealed or unsealed.
Not sealed.
Yeah, they don't have to do sealed bids.
2 or 3
That'll-
bids.
That'll slow down the process on the.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, not sealed, sorry, but two or 3 bids. What do you want, 2 or 3?
That
At least 2.
at least 2.
3 if probable. Like if they send out 3 and they only get 2 back?
Yeah. If you seek 3 and you get 2 back, absolutely. It's like, and when we seek none, then we can do the job ourselves type thing.
Okay. I'll have them seek 3 bids.
There's usually a geographical reference to it too. So like within 50 miles of blah, blah, blah. Just because if you only, I mean, the funny thing, I gave you the example of Eagle. Well, there's lots of lots in Ada County. But out here, there might be only one entity that does it. And so are you going to then hamstring a local business because Boise gives you a bid that's cheaper, but, well, you don't want to, like, let's keep it in-house.
Right.
In our towns, and things like that. But you'll put a geographical impetus on that as well.
Okay.
So Councilman, do you want the impetus to be 10 mile, 20 mile, 30 mile, 40 mile?
Gosh, I haven't had a chance to think. My thought is like 25 miles include Hammett, Glens Ferry, Grandview, maybe exclude Boise for the first attempt at bids. That's just a thought really quick. I haven't
How about I just give you an example and you could say, by God, that's fabulous, or that's terrible.
Yeah.
Mayor, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question. Councilman Brennan, is it just solicit 3 bids, or is it you want 3 hard copy paper bids? Because
Solicit.
Just solicit.
well, he said a couple times that he wanted 2 back, so I just want to make sure because there's several times I've sat and we haven't got any back. And our
way
pool
this is-
project is a perfect example of that.
The way this is done is Tiff literally gets on the phone, says, hey, I need this done, what can you do for me? I don't know, Uncle Bob down the road will do it for $10 less, and then you end up just you're just calling 3 different entities, seeing what the best is. This is for, more inexpensive
Yes,
type items.
yes.
But you don't want to bog down the process of getting whatever widget you need fixed, or.
I guess my only issue with widgets is like, I think fire trucks can only be fixed in the BME or what was it, the one in Boise that can only do them, or what is it?
Yeah, for
Freightliner or?
Yeah, Hughes Fire Equipment there. I mean, there's specialty deals diversified for our ladder testing. We have specialty services because they're specialty equipment.
And that'll be in it too. I mean, that's the other thing is, for example, with the swimming pool stuff, there are things that only they could do in Tampa or something.
So council can we table this to the next one, let him get you your what you're wanting, put this in verbiage, have you guys look at the verbiage, you say yes, you like it, you don't like it, I want to add this or that.
It has to come back.
Okay. And it's got to come back to you
It
anyways.
has to come back for approval regardless with its changes.
Councilman Garber, sorry.
No, that's it.
Councilman,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just agreeing with Tiffany.
Is there anything else you want to add on to this? Tiff, you have something?
Once I get the edits from Paul and I listen to our meeting again and get all of the recommendations, I will send you guys a draft and then we'll go from there for a final. Does that work? Okay, perfect.
Thank
You have to listen to all of them twice?
I actually listened. You'd be amazed how many times I listened to Brennan. all his land ordinance adjustments. Like I get it pretty because I got to give it to you.
All right, council.
It's my big bucks.
Okay. Let's run down to item number 1. Items removed, and the only one that we're going to talk about is O, and I'm going to let Councilman Brennan have that one.
We're coming, this is like a kind of a catch-22 or a double-edged sword for me because where I stood and where I stand on impact fees, but I also believe that the governing body has created them. We've made one adjustment so far, and per the ordinance or the state statute, there's not truly a full justification as to why we would waive such fees. It's just simply like we don't want to pay them, and I've seen other people put in a lot more effort as to why they shouldn't be paying impact fees and how their specific project doesn't maybe fall under the code exemptions, and we simply didn't get that with this request. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a motion to deny Idaho Power's request.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
so, Councilman Brennan, did you read our own exemption policy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking the question, because it specifically states for this kind of an exemption for a commercial project that will not have an impact. I'm not saying I'm for or against it, I'm just saying that we just drafted this exemption, or excuse me, ordinance, what, 6 months ago? We created this to allow for this sort of exemption, so I'm just confused. And I'm trying to find it, I apologize. This is the bad thing about having it on your computer.
Mayor. Councilman Harjo?
If you don't mind me breaking in, it's 9-4-8, and it reads as subsection 2, construction of an unoccupied detached accessory structure or addition uses of related to the dwelling unit unless the city determines that the use creates a significant impact on the capacity of the system improvements. From my perspective, when we have this request to create an open air metal shed structure that covers critical infrastructure repair rigs on an already existing lot by an already existing landowner, that one could derive that the intended purpose of having such a shed to enclose or to cover those service trucks could or has had an impact, and that drove the need for making sure that normal wear and tear was reduced by either pulling those out of the elements like snow, sun, and that kind of thing. As the applicant asking for this has stated, it's an all-metal structure, it is unoccupied, and they're not asking to waive the fire inspection fee or the building inspection or anything of that manner. They're asking for a $6,500 reduction in impact fees that don't create a significant impact on the capacity of system improvements. If they build a 3-sided metal structure that passes the initial fire inspection, that's not a burden upon any further burden upon fire. I can't find a reason that if they're maintaining the same number of trucks, why that has an increased burden upon streets. I can't find a reason that it would cause that structure would be the cause of an increased police presence need for that. So when I try to match what the impact fee intent is for against their use of this structure versus the exemption of impact fees, they all dovetail together pretty well in my opinion, to provide this as the opportunity as designed for an exemption for a product that does not have a significant impact upon those areas of impact, but as well, if we're going to be good community partners to critical infrastructure providers like Idaho Power, I think this is a pretty straightforward ask that deserves to be considered as an approval.
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
When I talk about my like double-edged sword, I probably didn't go into enough detail where I guess I feel like I keep saying this is a new governing body now, but I'd like to draw the attention, unless I'm totally mistaken in my head, which I get that way sometimes, but draw the attention to the decision that was made for Elmore County, another tax-paying body, as far as their three-sided structure, where we waived some of the impact fee, but not all of them. And Fire Chief, do you know what I'm talking about? As far, wasn't it the fire impact fee that we kept on there?
Mayor Council, to the best of my recollection, that is accurate, yes.
For a three-sided parking structure.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're gonna, again, I understand we're a new body and all that, and I don't even remember how I voted on that, to be honest. But I know that we still held Elmore County, which we all pay taxes to. We held them, their feet to the fire, so to speak, and said, we need you to pay some of these. So I don't know what the difference is in this case.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I'm trying to remember when this was. We've had a lot happen since then. I don't know that we had this 9-4-8 in place.
You did.
We did. Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you for your good memory. Okay. That was on. I was just trying to remember because we did have that.
Councilman Brennan?
Did we waive everything but fire? Is that?
I believe so.
I think so.
Because it's not, I agree, like police and streets, the vehicles are already there, but there's a chance that a fire can happen under that building and melt the building and make it fall down on the other vehicles and make it harder to fight. I'm not a firefighter. I hope I'm not speaking for you guys back there, but in my mind, that's what I see. I carry a different weapon than others, but I don't know. So I feel like keeping it the same or.
So what would that come out to be? I've been trying to.
Got it right here.
Oh, do you?
Mayor.
I've been
I just
looking-
was coming from. I've been looking for that too.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Councilwoman Garvey?
So if we keep the fire impact fee intact, that's $1,900. What they're asked? So they're going to pay the building permit. So it's $1,900. So the streets have the biggest. $3,600 are the streets, and then the police. So
you're saying, Councilman Brennan, keep the 19 and waive the police, the streets?
Police impact fee, street impact fee, fire review stays, fire impact fee stays, and the plan reviews and building permit stays.
Okay.
That's
It's
not
a
what I
significant
motioned initially. I
chunk.
know that, but that's where I would stand, is keeping it the same, because I do believe that a structure can still collapse in a fire and can still slow down the firefighting efforts and maybe need another truck.
I was just going to say that.
So that's why I say, like, I believe it still has a fire impact.
Mayor?
Councilman Harjo?
Councilman Brennan, would you like to amend your motion to that
Absolutely.
fact?
Councilman Brennan?
I would amend my motion to deny the full request from Idaho Power, but to approve the waiving of the police and street impact fee.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Sorry. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
All right. Let's run down to, let's see, that was that's it. Okay, let's run down to action item number 2. Discussion to approve resolution 2-224R establishing new monthly residential commercial garbage and recycling rates for 2024. Council, what do y'all want to do?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I said it the last time, I'd just like to say it again really quick, that essentially we are bound by contract that we entered into initially for this raise. We're not raising it any more than what the contract requires. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 02-2024R, establishing new monthly residential and commercial garbage rates and recycling rates for 2024, which includes smaller cans for some.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Workla?
what's the percentage that is going up? Did we figure that out?
It's 6.5%, Councilwoman.
That was my question.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
We'll run down to new business number 3, discussion regarding airport liaisons. Councilman Harjo?
So these following this and the following 2 action items, and I won't speak to the others, but the original request was to add an agenda item to discuss creating an airport or creating a city council liaison to the airport advisory committee, not necessarily to the airport itself directly. Not that I am against that, but as it's printed here, we have an airport manager that we have hired by contract, and we're duly bound as public-private entity entering into a contract to adhere to that contract. Whether that relationship needs a one-to-one oversight from council, I don't necessarily believe that to be the case. So I wanted to make that part clear, that the original intent of that request was to create a city council liaison to the airport advisory committee, which will come later on the agenda.
Okay. So council, Councilman Harjo's thoughts, what's your thoughts? Councilman Brennan?
I don't have any thoughts. I don't object to having a liaison for a set period of time, like 1 year, or however long that needs to be, as long as someone that council member can commit to those meetings. It sounds like needs to be some regularity there.
Okay.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
So Scott, would you like to be
Well,
airport advisory liaison?
Mayor, yeah, so regarding the action item or the non-action items on our agenda, to be clear, if we're having the discussion of creating a city council liaison to the airport advisory committee, specifically, and not just to the airport, I want to make sure that that's the discussion that we're having in this moment.
So we should have done number 4 first?
I would
for clarity.
They're all non-actions.
Right. So I guess, can we just non-action all 3, 4, and 5 and have those discussions, I guess, right now?
Yes.
4 would, excuse me, sorry, Mayor.
No, you're good,
4
Councilman
would
Harjo.
exist, I think, as a separate discussion item. In the last meeting, Councilwoman Garvey brought up the additional point of creating city council liaisons to department heads, or to departments, which I think is a separate discussion than a city council liaison to the airport advisory committee, as I had requested.
Oh,
So, my point on non-action item number 3, discussion regarding an airport liaison, I would not have a I wouldn't recommend that we create or discuss that aspect any further.
Okay. So you want to go down let's go down to number 4, discussion regarding city department liaisons. Councilwoman Garvey?
Councilman Brennan, didn't you sit on city liaison department head committees?
I did.
Did you feel like they were beneficial?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, right. There.
Councilman Brennan?
I try to understand my role. I don't always feel it the best as far as being a council member and not an executive as far as that goes. I always have a lot of ideas, and I want to push those ideas, but I try to not try to not. And I know there's some department heads that don't want me there. Like, it's no secret, right, guys? And maybe it's my personality, I don't know, but I personally didn't find any value to it. If they want us there, I've seen that they request us presence. Like, I volunteered to be on the City Youth Council, and I'm just taking a backseat approach. When they want me there, they'll ask for me there, and I tried to clear that up the best that I could, instead of being there every single time, and maybe they feel like they can't talk freely. And I guess, as I said at the last meeting, we can have liaisons all day long, but I'm going to approach every department head when I have a question for them directly and take care of business personally.
Mayor?
Councilman Harjo?
I would follow suit with that sentiment. That I don't know that with the potentials of what defining that could create, I'm not interested if it becomes a factor of city council operating outside of their role and becoming micromanagers. That's not attractive to me at all. I don't want to have city council become territorial about their relationship with one or more departments, and at budget time pit city council at odds and have skewed views of where those two potential council people may represent two separate departments that are vying for funding in their budgets. I think you get to the point where there might be too much oversight and involvement, creating council liaisons to department heads. I think I've had zero issues talking with any department head on a whim. I can call, I can stop by, I can shoot a text. I called Chris on his lunch break on accident one time, sorry. I've never encountered a block to access to discussion with the department head, and I think we should just keep things the same and status quo, and not entertain council liaisons to departments specifically.
Councilwoman Wolfa?
Mayor, I agree with his sentence.
I guess that goes down to number 5. Same sentiment I'm picking up.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I feel this is a whole different apple as far as city advisory committees. Can you help me understand? I've lost track of some over the years, but we had a street or public safety, a road, whatever. I don't know what you called it.
Public safety?
Mayor, Council, you have a traffic safety committee that's currently on hiatus due to lack of quorums and members. We have Parks and Rec committee on hiatus as well. Same kind of situation. COVID was a big hindrance to some of that. And then you have a golf advisory committee that is on hiatus. The only active committee at this time is your airport advisory and your planning and zoning commission.
And library.
Oh, and library.
Yeah, and library.
And youth.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
When it comes to planning and zoning in the library, I think we need to set those aside in this discussion, in the sense that those are statutorily required. That's not within the advisory committee discussion I think we're having here. So I think the library and planning and zoning need to be set aside from this discussion. We also had the transportation and walkability committee that has essentially run its course. The study is complete and will be presented soon, as I recall. So that is another inactive. I think really the only active is the airport advisory committee. And that's really the focus of why I brought the topic up. When I went to the city website and looked for the airport advisory committee meeting agendas and meeting minutes, I find that for the year of 2023, there's not even a folder entry for the meeting minutes for the airport advisory committee for all of 2023. Just through conversations with previous conversations with our former public works director and our current public works director, there was some issues of quorums not being fulfilled at a couple of those. So one of the understanding that if you don't have a quorum, you can't have meeting minutes other than reflected that we did not reach a quorum. When it comes to our ordinance 222 subsection A for the airport committee, the airport committee shall have the duty and responsibility to suggest and make recommendations to the mayor, council, airport manager, and or fixed base operator concerning the development, use, and management of the municipal airport. Prior to me being on this body, I sat on planning and zoning. During several instances, I wondered myself where the input existed on topics that came through planning and zoning or potentially could utilize feedback. Now, granted, planning and zoning is not cited as those who are in advisement of, but I did follow those topics forward to council and watched from the gallery here and saw more than one where if I were sitting up here at the time, I would have requested feedback on these. I think there's separately a topic to be had about how meetings are conducted by these advisory committees. I've gotten feedback from more than one individual that meetings have become somewhat unruly or hard to access. I've heard several instances in regard to terms and vacancies. There's a passage that in 2-2-4 that states, if a member is absent from 3 consecutive meetings without the consent or approval of the majority of the remaining committee members, that person shall be deemed to have resigned as a member and a new member shall be appointed. That, without meeting minutes and an understanding of where and who attended at what points, we can't establish whether these criteria are being met. So these are the reasons that I bring this topic forward and say that I would like to see a member of our city council appointed to be the liaison to this advisory committee. One, to make sure that some level of decorum is kept, and we up here have a significant amount of experience in that, some more than others, obviously, and can assist when those times come, but as well to be able to have kind of a finger on the pulse of what airport operations we needed to be advised on when it comes to the fulfillment of the committee's requirements to advise mayor, council, airport manager, FBO. I gotta say, I don't, as many meetings as I've attended, both as a citizen, as an elected official, and appointed official, I've not seen any feedback from that committee over the course of those several years. So I would like to see some involvement somewhere.
Copy that, Councilman. Okay. Councilman Brennan.
I would say for the committees that are on hiatus now, like traffic safety, golf, parks and rec, we keep it that way. But encourage all of our citizens that if you have a comment about any of those issues to reach out to us at any time and we can talk about it, or you can show up to a meeting and have your 3 minutes.
Mayor. And to tack onto that, the ability for citizens to contact us via letters mailed in or email. You can write a whole lot without a time period. Sometimes it's difficult to meet a 3-minute fulfillment in a verbal sense, but we're all accessible by email and phone, so please utilize those.
Let's run down to 6. We're gonna talk trash.
That's right.
All right, Councilman Brennan, you're up.
I ran this through or requested this as just a discussion item only. Essentially, is that since I was able to call out the trash contract. I apologize for not using formal names and whatnot, but the contract shows that we are allowed to set black plastic trash bags out on the curb as long as they don't rip or tear. And for years now, they have refused to pick those up. And then we've since found, thanks to Rochelle, that our ordinance says you cannot do that. But the ordinance is terribly written. I don't have it in front of me, but it's okay. But it's terribly written because it says if you're going to use a bag, it has to be this thick and it can't rip. And oh, by the way, you can't set it outside your tote. So, who cares what the dark garbage bag is like if it's inside your tote? That's my point. And so I think we need to get on the same page, whether we change the contract or request a change to the contract or our ordinance. And I may not be the most eco-friendly guy, but I don't see a problem with throwing a trash bag on the curb if they're picking it up that day. I mean, most everybody else uses plastic bags to put their trash in the house and carry it out to the tote. So I don't really see a huge problem with allowing folks to set out trash when their tote is full on the curb next to their can. But looking for any feedback if anybody has any.
Okay, council members, you want to do a possible rewrite?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
I wouldn't want to see a lot of bags stacked outside of garbage cans because they stink. There's cats could get in them, dogs could get in them. I don't know. We have a container for a reason.
Mayor.
I'm trying to find that spot. I'm sorry.
It's 734C.
Councilwoman Workla?
Isn't that also why there's different options of container sizes for people? I mean, is there 4 different sizes to purchase if you do have more garbage? The one thing though, I think, do they allow like on certain holidays, like after Christmas and stuff, you can put it out and such?
Yes.
Yeah, because you do accumulate more in certain times of the year. I mean, I do agree with Councilwoman Garvey that animals, if you have any type of like tuna fish or something sitting out there, they will go through that garbage. So, yes, I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, I could just
go ahead, Paul.
Give you my little bit of experience with this, not to question the motives or anything like that, but I've seen it before where it's silent on that, and then sure enough, in a cities to go unnamed, they come back later and say they'll go one of two ways. They'll say, because of our workers and because of our workers' compensation and because of the nature of the trucks that come in and grab the thing and do that and all of that, we cannot have. If you want to have additionally going out to pick up trash bags on the side, that requires an additional worker. Yes, we're going to do that for the Christmas trees and for the whatever. There's different times of the year, but it's the way that then they justify coming back and asking for a lot more money. Because now we need to have a worker that actually comes and picks it up, and he's got to be built like Hank in order to do it, and blah, 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 blah. So, or they'll go the opposite route, and they'll say the totes only, because it only can do that, therefore we can't possibly get out of the truck to pick it up, kind of thing. So they'll get you one way or the other, so just be careful with that. And I suspect, I don't know when that ordinance was written, but I suspect it was probably cut and pasted from somewhere else because of that.
Okay. Mayor. Let me run to Councilman Harjo first.
Mine's real quick. It was 2012.
2012.
Okay, Councilman Brennan.
I really don't care. I just think they need to be in alignment with each other. So I guess we can, I forget which one, just ask for an amended contract then, or probably the ordinance trumps the contract anyways, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so no, it doesn't. They're both independent.
Yeah.
So if the ordinance says that you, sir, should not put a trash bag outside your house, that does not mean that if it happens to be outside the house, that's just Hank doing code enforcement against you. As far as the contract with the company, if the company says you're going to go out and pick it up, that means you're going to go out and pick it up. So technically they both survive independently of each other, but it creates confusion, obviously. So I would agree though that pick one and let's go with it.
Mayor, Council, I would just like to say that we have a very good working relationship with the local guys here out chatting those. And if code enforcement has pile up in the alley, we could call them, they go get it, regardless of what the contract says. A couple weeks ago, somebody moved and they literally left, I believe, half their contents out on the street. And Republic removed it for no additional cost. So, like, I don't really know if we want to amend necessarily the contract at this time, since it is going to be up for renegotiation shortly. I think it's next year, the following, but our ordinance is pretty solid and we can do it internally.
And Tiff and I are going to be
We
going
could
after
change
that contract, so maybe we don't upset the cart.
We could clean the language in the ordinance so it doesn't talk about the thickness of the bag or whatever those things are, absolutely, but.
Okay, I'm fine with that. If we're gonna renegotiate soon, then just kind of keep it quiet for them. Ordinance stands, I don't know, whatever.
All right. Final comments, council.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Wokla?
Yeah, so, seems like there's a lot of chatter about asbestos in the water lines. I don't even know, being new to this, I don't even know exactly what is fact and what's not. Do you have a subject matter expert that could come in potentially next meeting and speak on the status of that or what is going on with that?
They'll be here. They'll be here.
I was gonna have James talk real quick, but he left. Dirty dog.
So what?
Yes, Keller will be here next.
To speak on this specifically?
Well, I can have him speak on that specifically.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
James, hang on a second. Sorry, I gotta write that down. I'll forget it. James. What? So asbestos. Councilman Brennan.
I'd like to ask for a review of the new golf course ways of how the finances are looking, how the process is looking. I don't know if we're only about 6 weeks into that now, but my thought was either a 2 or 3 month review if we can get a full report back to council, maybe comparing the same quarter to the previous year versus where we're at now, so we can know if what we're doing is working a little bit or it's not working with the investments we've made there.
Okay.
What do you, 2 or 3 month review? What do you think? 3? Yeah, at the end of March or last meeting of March, first meeting of April.
Mr. Mayor.
Uh,
I don't
Sorry,
know
Paul.
that you're gonna get an apples to apples comparison, because in the previous years, the Golf Pro received incentive pay to sell those passes. So that incentive pay was obviously from October, November, December, so he was incentivized to sell passes, whereas now we don't have that. So I don't think you're gonna be able to compare apples to apples. People are coming in now to purchase their golf passes because it's nice weather out.
Sure.
And-
But we can still get like rounds played and,
Yeah.
you know,
Get that.
did we lose 3/4 of our business because of what we
Right.
did, that
Also,
kind of thing?
one of the other apples to apples is we didn't have the rates yet. So people held off purchasing passes or going out there because we didn't have the new rates established.
Okay.
So that, just keep that in mind when you see those numbers.
Yeah, we're still in the winter quarter, I know, but I want to stay on top of it so we
Yep.
can
For sure.
have a very watchful eye on it. And for the record, I already talked to the mayor about this, is we received a memo about gym usage in our packet. And I just said I felt like that's more of a the council's decision to make rather than the executive decision to make. And sir, you agreed to that, and we're going to have that as an action item, I believe, on our next agenda, and everything's going to be on hold until then.
Yep. Mayor. Councilman Harjo?
I have a different and unrelated topic, but pertinent to tonight. As a part of the discussion of having a liaison to the Airport Advisory Committee and hearing from several citizens over the past couple of years that, and I'm not going to speak for Councilwoman Workla, but coming into a role like this obviously is there's a large uptake of information. I had asked at one point and to see if we had a public meetings handbook, something that laid out the landscape of how we as the city of Mountain Home conduct public meetings for city council, planning and zoning, advisory committees, library board, and those kind of things. We don't have a document that accomplishes that, and I'd like to put it as an item for deliberation and decision on either the next meeting or the following, sometime within maybe the next month. I took it upon myself to author a public meetings handbook based on several different cities around the state. Idaho Falls had a pretty solid document in the grand scheme of things. Nomenclature is a little different. Process and procedure was a little different, and I've chosen to include our cheat sheet for how we accomplish executive session and that kind of thing, right? So like the newly elected manual from AIC is great, and I've read that document, but when it comes to our city specifically, I think we have enough individual need that it drives the need for that document, and I've gotten it 90% of the way there. I'd like to finish up publishing a red line draft, distribute that to Tiff, and then if Tiff, if you wouldn't mind distributing that out to the rest of the council, I would love any feedback. I'm not invested in terms of the quality. Like, I recognize I'm not the subject matter expert, that guy is. So if you could include legal on that, or maybe for billing purposes, maybe we should deliberate that first, and then if you'd like to take a look. But I'd like to get that on one of the coming agendas.
Mr. Mayor, and you can take credit for it, but I used to teach the class at AIC and IAC for that specific thing, so I have a manual, but it's out of date. It's out of date now. But I wrote a manual. I mean, if you have trouble sleeping, you guys, that'll knock you out. I'll give it to you, and then you can cut and paste it all you want and include it. But I used to teach that every year for too long. So that exact thing you're asking for, you know, all the P&Z stuff, all the public meeting stuff, finance stuff, it's all in there. So
Wonderful. I'd love it.
All right.
In that case, perhaps, Mayor, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Could we push that out 2 meetings, so I got a little time to read our attorney's publishing?
And you might say, I changed my mind, take it back.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I just want to say, council, thank you for the addition of the FedEx. We take a piece of ground that's just asphalt millings and able to make some money off of that. Then that money can go back into the airport, which is huge. And it's the first step, I think, in building a good relationship with FedEx here moving forward. So I want to thank Tom Hogue for bringing that forward, and we're having that relationship with FedEx to start that conversation. So